Good evening and welcome to What's Your Story? I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. We have a very special guest tonight, and she comes back to join us periodically because, unfortunately, the issue that she deals with never goes away. No matter how hard we try, no matter what we do, it stays with us. And it destroys families, and it hurts people. And people need the service that this guest provides. My guest today is Mrs. Susie Woerz. She is the executive director of the Plainville Community Food Center. And I said center, Plainville Community Food
Pantry.
Pantry. And her story is fascinating to me on many levels, but I'm not going to tell her story. I'm going to let her tell her story because you need to know that angels walk amongst us. And I've got one here in the studio tonight. You really need to know that. So welcome to the show, Susie. Thank you.
Thank you for always having me. I always enjoy our conversations, and I appreciate you helping us get the word out what we really do.
No problem.
Thank
Love
you.
doing it. Why don't we start by telling our audience, for those who don't know you, who you are, where you're from, and what you do.
Okay, I'm Susie Woerz. I'm the executive director of the Plainville Community Food Pantry. I'm going to my 43rd year, and I'm sorry, 34th year.
Okay.
I'm
all right.
aging myself.
That's all right.
But the Plainville Food Pantry has been around a long time. In the late 60s it started. And then we went into Conference of Churches, and then we opened up our own 501c and became our own organization. So it's been a good travel, a good lane to go because of what we've accomplished in all those years. I was in 800 square feet. We're now in 5,000 square feet building that we own. And it looks like a grocery store, it looks like a convenience store or clothing store. We accomplish a lot. We do energy assistance. We do a lot of things out of that building. And without my staff and volunteers and the board and our community who are very supportive of us, we would not manage what we're doing.
Susie, please tell our audience exactly what we still need to do to battle hunger. What do we have to do, Susie?
Well, we've all been battling hunger in the field that I'm in, and you know, hunger never goes on vacation. And people that are going hungry are the people that are on Social Security disability or fixed income, and they can't work extra hours or whatever. You know, at the end of the month, they don't have enough money to provide, and especially now with what's going on with the economy. People are hurting. I mean, you're hearing everybody say, we're going to the store, we're spending more money and gas and oil and, you know, propane. I mean, everybody is feeling a little pinch right now. And I think that's why the Plainville Food Pantry is there for Plainville residents if they're in need. You know, we're there with COVID. We didn't skip a beat. I was very proud of what we accomplished because it was not easy for anybody to cope with this COVID and figure out how you can still give services. There are a lot of people that were able to work from home. We were not able to do that. So, which is fine. I was happy we were there. The door was never closed. And I'm very proud again of our community. They really stepped up to the plate and helped us feed the folks in our community.
Do you find a greater need now, say, than a couple of years ago? Is it increasing or is it holding steady or?
Well, I want to say before the pandemic, we were seeing 10 to 12 households a day. When the pandemic hit, we slowed way down because there was the stimulus packages, there was food available everywhere. You know, we still saw people, and we did it in a different way where nobody was coming into the building. We all wore masks. They would give us their order through a menu, and we would tell them what we had on special. And then we would fill that out, and they would come pick it up, and we would bring it out and put that in their car for them. It worked out beautiful. We did Secret Santa. We did the back to school, all 3 holidays. We didn't skip a beat, which is amazing. We were able to succeed during that time.
34 years, did you say?
I'm 34, yes,
34.
going on 34 years.
All right, so you got to tell the audience, how did you get started? What drove you to start that, to be involved?
Okay, I belonged to Grace Lutheran Church, and my minister asked me if I wanted to apply for the job, and I was like, I don't know how to run a food pantry. And my mother-in-law said, oh, you can do it. You'll figure it out. And so I did get the job, and they interviewed me, and one of the questions was, if you were closing the doors and someone showed up for food, what would you do? And I said, I would open the door and get them food. I mean, that's what we're there for. So they gave me the job, and when I started, it was very small. It was in Linden Street School Cellar. I had a little steel desk with a rotary phone. We didn't have a lot of food. So then I started getting into the community, and I was going to like the Rotary clubs and all the clubs and speaking out in the community. And we were able to grow. We had to leave Linden Street School because they needed the room I was in, because that's when they were expanding, more kids were coming in. So I moved over to Our Lady Mercy Church in the Parish Center. I was in a little cafeteria, which I adored. It was perfect. They treated us very well there. We were there 10 years, till we wrote a state grant, which I drove around in my car for about a year because it was very lengthy application. Mm-hmm. So I drove around with it, and it was just way over my head. So we got a new board member in, and I was talking about this grant because we really needed more space. And so he said, my wife is a professional grant writer. And I was like, wow, this is amazing.
It's a godsend.
Exactly right. And so she came on a Saturday. First, she told me what I had to get together for her, and which I did. And then we met on a Saturday, and she sat down, and we both worked together. And it was brought to the OPM, which it kind of was there for a while because that's back when the Patriots were trying to come to Connecticut.
Yep. So,
we kept getting, kind of back in the back burner for temporary because they had a lot of projects going on. Finally, I was invited by Betty Bocas, who was amazing and helped us a lot with our food pantry.
Late state representative.
Yes, beautiful woman. And so anyway, I went with her, and they called the Plainville Food Pantry, and it was approved. And I really wanted to get up and start screaming because I was so excited. We're going to be able to design and build the building we're in today. So it's a great story.
What sorts of items do you need, Susie, and how can people get those items to you?
Okay, we are looking for cleaning products, shampoos, things like that. I think we're actually out of shampoo right now. But things like children's snacks, grape jelly, jellies, peanut butter, children's cereals, things like that. We are buying a lot of that now.
Now, you said that it's like a grocery store.
It is.
I can't envision a pantry being like a grocery store. So talk us through how, if I qualified as a Plainville resident, right? I have to first be a Plainville resident.
Correct.
If I qualified and I came there, would it be like going through Stop and Shop? Is that what it would be like?
It would be like shopping at Nazo. As a matter of fact, the guy that set up the shelving that looks like grocery store shelving helped us set it up as a grocery store style, because that's what he does for a living.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so...
so I show up, okay, I'm at the door. What happens next?
Well, you're going to go around with a volunteer, and you're going to look at the shelves, and you're going to take off the shelf if you were wanting like spaghetti sauce, and get the pasta, and then you get the condiments, and all those things. They go down, they pick it, and that's called client choice. Because if they didn't have a choice, and we just bagged something and gave it to them, and their children, they may not like it. So you might as well not have given it to them because they're not going to eat it.
So, okay, so a person goes
yeah.
through and the stuff is bagged.
Yeah.
And the bags are then taken out, and that's my trip through
Yeah.
the pantry.
Yes.
How generally, how many people are you seeing in a week now?
Right now, we're up to 130 households, which is climbing because the holidays are coming. Right now, I'm going to say we have over 300 individuals on the program, which is growing.
300 clients
We'll be up
currently.
to 300 people, adults, seniors. So it's growing, it's growing. By the time we finish this year out and into April, we'll see a lot more people coming in because they can't afford groceries, they can't afford, their heating, whatever. Rentals have gone up. Everything's going up, and they can't raise any more money. So those are the folks we're seeing.
It must be a humbling experience to have to admit that you even need your services.
You're right.
So when people come there, they're put at ease. You talk to them
Yes.
and explain to them that but for the grace of God, there go I, right? And walk
Well,
people through it.
I
Yeah.
always say to the people that come in, because they have to do an application, we're doing a softer application than prior to COVID. I say soft application, we ask questions, and if I have any questions about something that they wrote on that application, then I will ask them to, back it up with, say, a rental, or how much are you paying for your rent?
Yes, yes.
We can do a lot for our folks in Plainville, and we want them to come in. They don't want to be there. They don't have a choice, and we want them to be treated with dignity, and let them know that we appreciate their situation and we're there to help them. I could be a pantry person myself. Nobody knows. You don't know. Something could happen. You could lose your spouse, or you could, lose your job. You don't know. You could get ill yourself and can't work. Then what do you do?
Yes, you have to eat. And what are the ages of the children that you see in need?
Right now, we're seeing even unborn babies because mom might need nutritious food, or she can't work now because she's going to have the baby. We're also seeing college kids where they're actually adults, but we're seeing all kinds of people coming in. And like I said, they don't really want to be there, but they don't have a choice. And I always tell them also that if you didn't come here to get help from us, I wouldn't have a job. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Do you take financial donations as well, or?
We always take financial donations, and what we'll do with that is pay for the things we're buying. I think my bill last month for buying food and toilet paper and things like that that we had to have. I think my bill was $1,700 last month for purchasing things that we didn't have.
Now, so let's say I was going to write a check. Who would I make that check out to?
It would be the Plainville Food Pantry, and we're at P.O. Box 233, Plainville, Connecticut.
And you are a 501c3,
Yes.
so it's tax deductible.
It is, yes.
So no matter what amount you give, it's tax
Right,
deductible.
exactly.
It's tax-
And the community and the surrounding communities have been very generous to us, and we want to say thank you for that because of them and their generosity. It's making us do what we're able to do.
Okay, so let's say I put in an application and I become a client. Is that what you, okay?
Yeah.
Then how long do I stay a client?
It depends on your situation. If you are disabled or on a fixed income, you're on the program till you're not on Earth anymore.
Yeah,
You know
okay.
what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
But we want people to understand that we're there, and we will help. We will help them. If they can't work or can't get another job or whatever, those are the folks that we're seeing. today.
Have you seen in your years success stories where people who were once clients have come back now and given back to you? Can you tell us a little about that?
Yes, I have one mom that had a couple kids, and she came on our program, and she was, trying to do her best, and it was hard for her. And I just met up with her. Well, I've known her now not as a client, as actually a friend. And she gives back now. And she put herself through school, college, and now she has a beautiful job. She loves her job. And I told her I'm very proud of her. Her children are doing fabulous. So that is the best story I can tell. And I've had several like that.
Now, when you began making your remarks, you said you also help people with fuel, heating assistance. How do you do that?
Well, first of all, they have to go to HRA, which is in Bristol or New Britain, and make an appointment.
What's HRA?
Human Resource Association, I think it stands for that.
Okay.
Way back in August, they started taking the applications in. So they had to, because they're now booking January and February.
Okay.
So it ends in March. So I'm telling my people, please go to HRA, call them. Some of them can do it over the phone.
Yeah.
Don't wait, because now I had people call me in August and they were out of fuel, and I said, I can only allow so much fuel to go out of the building for it to help you. And I apologize, but I can't give you oil now in August, when in January and February, it's going to be freezing cold, and I won't be able to help you. So it's kind of a balancing act, if you want to say. I mean, people are so giving, and they need to go get the help that we refer them to.
Isn't that the truth? If you just watch the news, you would think that the world is a terrible mess. And in many ways it is.
It is.
But people are so giving, that's what you said. And that's why I do this show.
Right.
Because I like to tell the story of people who do give, and they don't want any credit or any attention for it. They do it because they're good people.
Exactly.
And they understand that they have the power to affect and change somebody's life for the better, and they do so. They give back.
Exactly.
They're gracious. They understand. Now, do you have clients who are just fuel assistant clients and not food?
Well, here's the thing. We help with the fuel, but they really have to go to, like I said, HRA.
Okay.
Because they'll get fuel assistance, and then they may get a crisis. I'm not sure how that's going to work because of what's going on with oil and propane and all that. So in the past, they used to get oil, and then they would get another shipment of oil, and then they could call us. They have to be Plainville, and they have to come up with something, because we can't afford all the households to give oil. When it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
So that's why all my people on the program in August, I sent them a notice. You need to do this, 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 and this, because this is going to affect you later on if you don't. Because now they all got appointments, they're all signed up, ready to go, and not coming to us first and then go to HRA. And that happens a lot.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, because they're booking so far in advance now.
Yep.
But HR, I think they do a great job getting people in and out quickly.
Okay, so you do food assistance, you do fuel assistance. What else do you do over there?
The back to school, we do.
What is the back to school?
Back to school is backpacks, socks, underwear, everything they need for supplies. And I give them a $100 gift card to Kohl's to buy sneakers or shoes or first day of school outfit.
How long have you been doing that?
Since 1995.
Back to school since 1995.
And the reason I did it was because my nephew, who's in his 30s now,
Yes.
I said to my brother, I want to take him school shopping for his kindergarten.
Yes.
And he goes, okay. So I took him around a lunchbox, a backpack, and all the little fixings. And I ended up spending over $110. And I said to myself, that if my people can't afford that, the kids will have to go without. And I did go without a backpack at school when my mom was raising 4 of us. But so that's when we wrote a grant, and we got it, and we've been doing it ever since.
Susie, you impressed me as a person of deep faith. Is that right?
Yes.
And to what do you attribute your deep faith?
I think my grandmother. She did the rosary in the morning and the rosary at night, and she was very religious. And you know, my mom raised the 4 of us on her own, and my grandmother was always there. But I remember we used to go to church with her, and you know, I just think that the world today is so upside down that, you know, we all have to know there is a lot of good out there.
We have to know that.
We have to know that and just look for it, because it's out there. There's a lot of good. And I think with the COVID and all this, I think we're also just tired of all this. And people are really hurt by a lot of this going on. It's
Susie,
just sad.
Excuse me, tell people again, if you want to give financial donations, how and where to send it so they have that address clear in their minds.
Okay, it's Plainville Food Pantry, P.O. Box 233, Plainville, Connecticut, 06062. And just so you know, we're sending out our mass mail in the next week. And that is our big ask from our community. And they've always been very generous, and we appreciate it. And I thank them for any donations they send in.
Let's not leave this program this evening without giving a shout out to your volunteers, without whom you could not get the job done.
My volunteers are amazing. Some have dropped out because of the COVID, and they just couldn't do it anymore. And I understand that, and I appreciate all the dedication they did give us. The ones that I have now are amazing, and you know, I do a party for them every year, a thank you for what you do. They save us over $70,000 that I would have had to pay out for all the work that they do, because I have about 45 volunteers.
Wow.
Yeah. So they don't come all the time. It's holiday baskets and things like that. But I have probably eight a day that come in.
Wow.
Yeah. I have the morning and the afternoon. And if anybody wants to volunteer,
yes,
give us a call and we'll give you a tour, and you know, welcome to the family.
What number would they call, Susie?
860-747-1919. They can ask for me or ask for an application. They can fill the application out, bring it back, and we'll give them a tour.
Now, it occurred to me with Thanksgiving that I saw in the news there may be a shortage of turkeys or something. Do you have a freezer at your food pantry?
I do have a freezer. I have 2 Hobart big restaurant style.
Okay.
Then I have the chest freezer. So I am collecting some turkeys. I'm collecting a couple of hams and the oven roasters, which I'm going to order through Nazo's. They're very good to us.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you've got the whole 9 yards right there at your location. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very lucky.
Yes, you are.
We are very lucky. And we got a new state grant like 5 years ago to do energy efficiency. So now I have solar panels on the roof. I have 100 of them. And I'm selling it back. So our light bill, say in August, would have been $900 to $1,000. It was like 300 maybe.
All right.
So we're saving money there, which gives us more buying power for food and what we need. So.
Well, Susie, thank you so very much for coming and sharing tonight. Ladies and gentlemen out there, remember, hunger is real. It's not a figment of somebody's imagination. Please, during this holiday season and really all year, dig down and touch somebody with an act of kindness. No better way to do that than to put food in somebody's stomach. That's our show for tonight. I'm your host, James Ransom Reed Jr. Everybody has a story. What's yours? Until next time, good night.
Sometimes life just happens. Don't worry. Farmington Motorsports will get you back on the road and at a fair price. From towing to tires, emissions to transmissions.
Our ASC certified techs do it all.
Farmington Motorsports is a family-run business. We're a Napa Auto Center and AAA approved. We work on all makes and models from preventative maintenance to major repairs.
And every repair is backed by our 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty.
When life happens to you, don't worry. Farmington Motorsports.